Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about a Freightliner M2 112 and kind of the why buy. We're gonna mix up things a little bit today. We've talked about these trucks a lot, the 112 and the 106, and I want to change up kind of the story a little bit. I'm going to throw a couple of things out there for everybody to think about. The first question, excuse me, of the day is, what is BBC? It's a question. There'll be some people that'll know what it is. Some people won't. It is in relation to part of the model name of this truck. But anyway, we'll get back to that later. I'm going to do a quick cab, kind of a orientation rundown. Nothing too long in here. Then we will go outside, and then some more features, benefits of, you know, why you would buy a truck like this versus a pickup. One of the first things on these trucks that you will really notice is the view. You're sitting up high. You can see a lot. They're not intimidating to drive. A lot of people think that because of the size of it, they won't be able to drive it. The turning radius on this, excuse me, is less than a pickup. So it will literally turn inside a pickup, and you can see where you can literally see where you're going. Where in a pickup, you're sitting down lower and you have a long, a big long hood out in front of you, and it's a little hard to see. So there is one advantage. When you're pulling a trailer, you can really go, what we call deep into a corner, or extend out your turns so that you can make those corners, and then you've got a really good wheel cut to help it make, it around that corner. Inside here, they're pretty standard with today's, modern vehicles. Power windows, power locks, automatic transmission. The push button aspect here is a little different than today's, like a pickup, but it's very simple. I mean, you literally press D for drive and R for reverse, so it's very simple. There's some diagnostics built in here that we can show you how to use, that Allison has made it really neat. You can check the oil level, do some stuff like that right through the transmission. Parking brake, trailer air supply, brake controller, heat and air controls, standard dash tack odometer. Very, very, very simple. Air seats. The air seats are great. They give you a lot of flexibility. You can literally, I'm going to pick this seat up and then put it back down. Gives you a huge amount of flexibility, and the amount of, I'm going to tilt the wheel too. You've got a lot of tilt, you've got telescope, a lot of versatility in here, so you can set it up and make it easy to drive. Backup camera, standard on all of these trucks that we put together. DVD player overhead for the people that still watch DVDs. Nav system, AM, FM, XM Sirius. I think that covers most of the interior. You got your cup holders, you got a console with storage. We don't have to go too crazy on all this because it's pretty standard. It's pretty much industry standard. The other thing that I want to touch on today with this cab is it's huge. I don't know how much Cherish can show you, but if you have a family of 4 or 5 and you're in this cab and you need to go on a 12-hour road trip, you have room. You're not stuffed in here like sardines. So there's a lot of room. Back seat makes into a bed if you need it. A lot of floor space, flat floor. You can move around a lot of different positions, so you can really, really make a long trip very comfortable in a truck like this. The other thing that you can't really show people in a scenario like this is, if you take a long road trip in a truck like this, because it's so much more, it's powerful, the braking is better, and we'll get into more of that later in the video. The braking is so much better, and you're in control. You feel way more in control of your destiny and what's going to happen. So what happens, you don't get so tired and beat up at the end of a day. You can drive this truck for 8 hours and step out of it and you don't feel like, you know, you've been driving for 2 days. You're not beat up. And you have to experience that. I've done a lot of road trips in these trucks and it's pretty amazing. You can spend a day in it and not be beat up because you're not being pushed around by the other traffic. You're not being pushed around by your trailer. It makes a huge difference. So I think that is most of the interior stuff for today. Sound system. Like I said, if there's any more questions for the interior of these trucks, just let us know. It's you know, it's very simple, easy to operate. We'll talk about, there's a few other little bits and pieces we'll talk about later that tie back into some of this, but let's go outside and we'll look at the rest of it. So let's look at this. One of the things you can see here, I'm pretty sure you can see it right now, it's a 3-piece bumper, which doesn't sound like much. What that does, it's very simple. If you bump something, get in a tight situation and you smack something, this bumper is in 3 pieces, a left and a right and a center piece. If you wreck this piece, you only have to change this piece. It's that simple. It's got shear bolts in it. It's not a big deal. These are readily available about, you know, any Freightliner dealer, and there's Freightliner dealers all over the country. The hood is kind of a very similar scenario. If it gets a hit, it can be fixed and patched. I'm going to tip the hood up for you now. Same with the headlights on this truck. If you bust a headlight, it's a very simple exchange. There is no, you don't have to tear the truck apart to put a new headlight in it. These trucks, this 112 version of the M2, we are putting a DD13 in here. And this is a great motor. 505 horsepower and 1,850 foot-pounds of torque. That makes a truck like this to tow a horse trailer, a race car trailer, a boat, or whatever with, it's incredible. Until you drive one, you won't really understand how powerful it is, and it's almost relaxing because you don't have to worry about getting up the next hill. It will pull unbelievable. 373 gears, this truck will go as fast as you want to go. Believe me, it's uphill, downhill. Go back to the safety side of things again. Full Jake brakes. With most of the stuff that this truck's going to pull, you will rarely ever have to touch the brakes. Maybe just to come to a stop. I mean, it's that dramatic. And until you drive one, you really won't understand it. But you can come off the mountain, you can come down from Eisenhower and run on the Jakes for miles, never touch your brakes with a big load, and it's amazing. This motor also lets us have virtual technician. So what that means is, if you get an engine light, something happens, you want to check your service history, anything, if you get set up with virtual technician, then we can help you do that. If you buy this truck, we'll help you get set up. You basically have a login. It's cloud-based. It'll talk to the engine. You can log in, look at it. You can check up service history, maintenance history. If you get a check engine light, the engineers can look at it from the other side. They can tell you whether you can keep driving or if you have to stop. They can tell you the level of maintenance required. So if it's a simple thing and they can just keep on driving, when you get to the next dealer, no big problem. If there's a real problem and you need service, we can do that too, because they know what's wrong with it and they can direct you to the nearest dealer. That's a big benefit I don't think that we've pushed enough on these trucks yet. A few other simple things we've got here. Automatic wheel balances. Some of my colleagues have talked about them quite a bit, but they're very simple. It's an automatic balancing system, and it balances the entire rotating mass, the drum, the wheel, the tire, everything. It balances it, and it takes out a lot of the shimmy that, you know, these big heavy tires take a lot to balance. So it takes out that shimmy, it takes out the vibration, makes the trucks better to, you know, they drive better, they ride better, they feel better, better tire wear. You won't get the river wave effect. It helps a lot with that, so that's a great benefit. Then those are on the front and the rear tires. This truck, aluminum cab, aluminum doors, fiberglass hood, aluminum body. So all your rust issues here are gone. Lots of storage. We've showed lots of storage doors. You know, here, Cherish, we'll just show them one just for. Nice big storage, goes back into the other compartments. There's lots there. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. Lots of storage room. They can be custom configured for special applications if needed. We can do that. Even the tires on this truck versus a pickup. You've got tires here, if you take care of them, you're 100,000 miles relatively easy if you take care of them. The biggest problem that you will have with the tires on this truck is you will actually shave them off, especially on the rear, because you've got so much torque and horsepower. If you run them over inflated, they will actually skip and shave themselves off. So we need to do another video. We'll add this to another video one day, but I'll do a video about tire pressure on these trucks. You do not want to run them at the pressure, the max pressure that's stated on the side of the tires, because it's too much. You've got way more truck here than what you need for most applications. So if you inflate the tires to the max pressure, you're literally going to bounce down the road. So we'll talk about that in another video, tire pressures and how it relates. To do it correctly, you need to weigh the truck, and then there's a chart and you calculate what pressure you should have in the tires. On the safety side of things, we've shown this, but we're going to do it quickly and simply. This here, brake pad from a very current 1-ton pickup. Very simple. This truck is a brake shoe. I don't think I need to say any more. Brakes are important, especially if you're pulling a lot of weight. Here's another simple little demonstration. The U-joint out of a very current 1-ton pickup, U-joint out of this truck. Which one's going to last longer? As we go around, this truck is set up for a gooseneck hitch. Relatively simple. It's a B&W, what we call a B&W weld-in. A very simple. The beautiful thing about that, it lets you put any B&W application in there, whether you want a fifth wheel, a gooseneck, different adapters, etc. Because that's in there, all of the B&W applications will fit. With the power of this truck and its towing capacity, ability, what it can do, with a 2 5/16 ball, you're limited to 30,000 pounds. So you need to be aware of that. This truck can tow more than that. We can modify this truck and go up to a 3-inch ball if you want to pull a bigger trailer. We have to do some modifications, but it's not a problem. Very standard beneath this plate, very standard. You know, if you want to pull a bumper pull, or you want us to set it up with a pintle for a big race boat or something, very easy to do. LED lighting, more toolboxes, more storage. We run various tread patterns, tires on these trucks. This is a great, Michelin does a great job. 275/80, 22.5s, a great tire available almost anywhere. 22.5 tires in this size, easy to come by. Goes back to that easy maintenance. If something happens, if you wreck a tire, if you run over something, they're easy to find. We haven't talked about fuel. That's pretty simple. 50 gallons per side. You do have to, however, on this truck, the way it's set up, you have to fuel both tanks. This truck will draw and return fuel to both tanks and eventually level the fuel out between the tanks. But it takes time. If you pull up to a pump and you want to fill both tanks, you have to fill both tanks. Just a note for people to make sure they know that. I want to, stress on again, these trucks are easy to drive. They are intimidating. And today, the point I want to get across is, why would you buy this truck? So if you look back at this truck again and you think about this versus a pickup, you can see better. Your braking capacity is, it's not even close to that of a pickup. The horsepower of this truck and the torque, you can pull a big trailer, you can run fast, it's easy to service, you can tilt the hood, work on the engine, it's very easy to work on. Freightliner has service centers all over the US, so very easy to service, very easy to maintain. Oil changes, think about this. This truck, if you're treating it correctly on highway application, oil changes are somewhere between 35 and 40,000 miles between oil changes. So in a pickup, you can't do that. You don't have enough oil capacity. The way these trucks are set up, these are set up as commercial trucks. So, I say that and I better be careful because a lot of these trucks won't do that many miles in a year. So you do need to change it annually. But that just shows you, if you have this truck, you don't have to worry about, when's my next oil change, because you can go out a long way. It is an expensive truck. Let's touch on that for a moment. Because of the GVW on this truck, if you purchase this truck, you have to pay federal excise tax. It's a road tax basically made for commercial vehicles, but it's in a weight class where you need to pay that. And it makes this truck expensive. But if you look at the whole picture, the safety of this truck, the maintenance, how many places you can get it serviced, the power, the comfort, the drivability, it makes this truck fairly it makes it effective and attractive. It's going to outlive, I don't know how many pickups it's going to outlive, at least 2 or 3. This engine is designed to run for a long time. The entire drivetrain is built. It's a commercial grade drivetrain. So that's most of it for today. If you need any more information, we're Transwest Truck Trailer RV. We're up. We have a stock number. We have to tell you the stock number. 5N200071. If you need any information on this truck or any others like it, we also have the M2 106. And we didn't talk much about it today, but we have other videos. A great little truck. They work very well. They don't have the horsepower that this truck does. That's just the give and take. It's a less expensive, but a great solid little truck, but not the horsepower we have here. So if you need any more information, give us a call, 303-684-3400, and transwest.com is our website, and go on there and there's a link to the haulers. I hope everybody's having a great day. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll be talking again.